All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle, and I am one of the advisors on the SRA Hub. Today's webinar will be about personal statements for private schools, so that includes a Common App essay as well as supplements. So if you're watching this webinar, it means that maybe you're still working on it, may need some tips on how to brainstorm, maybe how to approach it. So this webinar is for you. What I'm going to do is share my screen so you guys can see the PowerPoint. All right, so private school personal statements. So for the Common App, you guys know you have to write one personal essay. So there's 7 prompts to choose from, and the essay has to be between 250 to 650 words. It really doesn't matter which prompt you pick. Some students feel like maybe one prompt is preferred over others, but really colleges just want to learn a little bit more about you. Something you want to keep in mind is that in addition to this Common App personal essay, some schools will ask for something called supplements or college-specific questions. So in addition to writing the personal essay, you might answer 1 or 2 or 3 or even up to 7 shorter response questions. So look out for that. And they'll all be on the Common App. So sometimes when you click on the school, it'll just show you like, hey, you need 2 supplements or writing supplements. And other times it's not so obvious. You have to answer some questions before you can actually see how many supplements you have to write. So what should you write about? So you want to pick a prompt or a topic where you can focus on something very significant about you that's not anywhere else on the application. So, this is a chance for you to tell them a little bit more about you, to reveal more about you, be a little more personal. So try to highlight something that's not already on your application so that they can learn a bit more about you. It's okay to maybe pick a topic that let's say for an extracurricular activity, maybe you mentioned it on your Common App, but it also answers one of the prompts and you want to go more in depth. It's okay to talk about it even though it's listed on your extracurricular section. What you want to be careful is you want to make sure you're not listing a bunch of different extracurricular activities you're currently in. You want to go more in depth. You want to be clear and include lots of specific details and examples. So this is what's going to make your personal statement interesting, but also unique. So anytime you talk about something, try to think of a story or a moment to highlight what you talk about. So this is really important, the 50-50 rule. So half of your essay should be what happened. So for your Common App personal essay, half of it should be an explanation of what happened, what maybe you talk about an event that was really meaningful for you. You want to spend 50% of your essay giving the reader more context, and the other half of the essay explaining so what. So why does this matter? Why is this important? Why is this meaningful? What did you learn? How did you grow? So make sure you have 50% of what happened and 50% so what. So writing style. So a lot of students ask about this. So for the personal essay for the Common App, it's a little different from the UCs in that the Common App is where you want to show your strength in writing. So you want to show strong writing skills. So that means, if a creative, flowery writing style comes naturally to you, use it, but don't try to force it, because some students feel like, well, private schools want to see strong writing skills. I'm going to try to use all these different adjectives in a row, like 3 adjectives in a row, and try to use the thesaurus to look up fancier vocab. You don't have to do that. Just write in your own authentic voice, but just keep in mind to demonstrate strong writing skills and make sure it's organized. So a lot of private schools have supplement questions that ask, why us? Or why do you want to come to this school? So how you approach this question is to do your research. So what is it about this particular school? So what is it about USC, or what is it about Pomona, or what is it about, another private school that draws you there? So what you can do is you can look on the school website, or if you visited the school on campus, I would definitely mention that, whether or not it was for a fly-in program, or if you just walked on campus, if you took a tour, whatever it is, if you talked to an alumni or a current student, whatever it is, mention it. Because you want to show them that you've done your research and that you basically know different programs that are at the school and how it's a good fit for you. So the main way to approach this question is to do your research, shows that you know the school, and show that it's aligned with your personal interest and your personality. Edit, edit, edit. So when you're, done with the draft of your personal essay, what you want to make sure is, one, does the one thought lead to another? So basically, is it organized? Did you answer the prompt and stay on topic? Because sometimes when I'm editing students' essay, what I notice is they're talking about different things and it doesn't connect to the prompt whatsoever. So as you're reading every couple of sentences, what I would recommend is to look back at the prompt and make sure that you're answering the prompt, which seems pretty obvious, but I think sometimes students, they just get really into the essay and they forget that, oh yeah, I'm supposed to answer all these different questions within the prompt. So make sure to double check that. You also want to make sure there's no unnecessary words or sentences. So if you find yourself repeating the same thing or saying the same thing in a different way, just pick one or the other, delete the other sentence. This is a little awkward for some students, but I really, really recommend reading your essay out loud, because that's the easiest way to check for flow. Because sometimes when you're writing your essay and you're constantly looking at it every day and you're reading it in your head, sometimes you kind of don't know how it flows out loud. So an easy way to do that is just to read your essay out loud or have someone read it to you, and you'll be able to easily catch any grammatical errors or spelling, or if maybe sentences are a little too long. So definitely read it out loud, even though it's awkward. And yes, so what you need to do is, so if you have a supplement that you have to write for college, what you do is first submit the Common App and then submit the writing supplement part of it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us about it, because it can be a little confusing. Make sure to save your essays and keep them organized. What I would do is write it on a Google Doc. That way you always have access to it, because, after you apply to college, you want to probably apply to some scholarships that maybe will reuse the same essay questions or are pretty much similar. Or you'll notice that some schools, their supplement questions are kind of similar too. So you can kind of tweak and adapt your essay in that way. So definitely keep it on like a Word doc or a Google Doc so you can go back to it. And that is my presentation. What I'm going to do is leave some time for you guys to ask questions. I also want to show you guys this really cool resource on the Hub. If you're, just getting started with your Common application, what you can do is go on the SRA Hub. So it looks like this. This is the main page. And what you can do is click on high school students. So click there. And then on the side right here, it says websites to check out. If you go to the second little bullet point, we have a brainstorming worksheet for the Common App application. So it's really simple. It's just a spreadsheet, and it breaks down the different Common App essay prompts. And then we break it into smaller parts so you can ensure that you answer all parts of the prompt, because you'll notice that a lot of the prompts have multiple questions. So this is a really cool tool to use. You can also use it if you already have a draft. What you can do is look at your essay, and let's say you answered prompt number 3. what you can do is look on your draft of your essay and copy and paste parts into the different box to make sure you answered every single part of the prompt. And if you notice that, hey, this one is filled and this one is filled, but this middle part is empty, it means that your essay is missing a key part. So this is another way you can use it. All right, so let me check if we have any questions. Doesn't look like we have any questions. Well, what I'm going to do is launch the post survey for you guys. So it's the same questions. It should pop up now. So go ahead and answer the questions. And once everyone has taken the survey, we can answer questions and end the webinar. Great. Thanks, everybody. So the key thing to keep in mind for the private school supplements and for your Common App essay is to, one, demonstrate strong writing skills. Number two, a lot of students don't do this, but you want to, talk about what happened and then the so what about, the what happened and the so what part. But, in the so what part, make sure to talk about how you can contribute to the campus itself, or what does it say about you as a future college student. So kind of talk a little bit about the future and what it means for you there, both in college or for career. And my last recommendation is, make it interesting. If you realize that, what I'm writing about, my friend could probably say this about themselves, or another student who's, in the same city as me or in the same extracurricular as me can say this about myself, that's where you want to start using more specific examples or stories so that you stand out. All right? Well, if you guys have any question, feel free to post on the Hub or send us a private email. It doesn't look like anyone has any questions, so I guess I will end this webinar and see you guys on the Hub. Have a good night. Bye.